Over the years, when we think of a Mani Ratnam film, we know that it will be very, very strong in aesthetics, be it the natural lighting, the song picturizations, the minimal dialogues, the kind of myths that are involved in the films. We know what to expect in a Mani Ratnam film, but what really works in his films are the strong emotional cores. But does that happen in Thug Life? Vanakkam and welcome to Cinema Express. This is Avinash Ramachandran, and in this video review episode, we are going to look at Mani Ratnam and Kamal Haasan's latest film, Thug Life. This review will contain a few spoilers. Please do watch it at your own discretion. Remember the promo that was first shot for Thug Life, where Rangaraya Sakhi Nayakar talks about battling with death and cheating it multiple times? Well, honestly, this film is actually about this particular character coming very, very close to death multiple times and somehow not finding its match. But the film is not just about Shaktivel, it's also about the kid that he finds one fine day during a shootout in one of the chawls in Delhi. The kid grows up to become Silambarasan, who plays the role of Amaran. As the film progresses, we understand that these two people are two sides of the same coin, and it is this coin that is being flipped around by the various parts of this puzzle played by Nasser, who is Shaktivel's brother, Shaktivel's henchman played by Jojo George, Bhagavati Perumal, and then there is this another a henchman of sorts played by Arjun Chidambaram. So all of these people come into fray, and then there is Shaktivel's wife Jeeva played by Abhirami, and then there is a very, very interesting character played by Trisha. She plays Indrani, who's a very, very interesting character, but unfortunately in Thug Life, a lot of interesting characters don't really sketch out properly. Case in point, Silambarasan's Amaran himself, because in a very, very interesting way, all of the men in this film, be it Shaktivel or Amaran or Manikam or the characters played by Joju or even the cop played by Ashok Selvan, all of them are not really smart. As in, it's almost like Mani Ratnam didn't really want to portray these people as very, very glorify them in any way or show them in a very good light. It's like when you're watching, usually watch these gangster films, you always think of one enemy coming to attack the major gangster and how all of these people come together to rally around and save him. And then somehow we also see their smarts, we see how strong they are, we see how manipulative they are, we see how interesting they can make the gangster world feel. But in Thug Life, you see that these things are not really played out to the gallery. It's very, very subtle. It's very, very daft actually. A lot of decisions that they make doesn't really make sense. See, by the time you see the trailer, you know that there is going to be betrayal, there is going to be breach of trust. You know who's going to do what, you know who's going to be at loggerheads with each other. We know everything. So honestly, from the trailer cut, we knew that there are no tricks up the sleeve. It's a very, very straightforward film about a family of gangsters finding faults with each other and going through the usual grind of who holds the maximum power. We have seen that happening in Chakachivandavanam. We saw that happening in a lot of other gangster films. And honestly, Thug Life does have most of the beats of almost every big gangster film we have known. But what I really like about Thug Life is the fact that Rangaraya Shaktivel Nayakar is a very, very vulnerable gangster. As in, he cries a lot, he's very playful, he's very romantic, he's very jealous, he's very evil, he's very naive. He's all of the same time, and Kamal Haasan plays this role wonderfully. Whenever the film plays around in the gangster drama space and with a lot of characters talking to each other, it's actually a very, very talky drama. And I think it works well for the film because it takes its time to settle. You meet every one of them separately, you understand what they're going through, you understand what each of them want in their lives, you understand everything, and it's all through dialogues. And it's wonderful how Shaktivel is put in his place, but not without him putting up a fight. It's very interesting how the dynamics are being in play. It's wonderful how Amaran becomes the de facto. We all seen that scene in the trailer where he says Inime Nanda Rangaraya Saktivel. All that, how it plays out, how it comes into the film, it's all very, very interesting. But once this film moves out of this gangster drama space and becomes a routine revenge drama, the film loses steam. These portions actually play out like a Shakespearean tragedy with a lot of wry humor. The lines are very funny. Kamal Haasan's dialogues are actually quite witty. Those one-liners, those repartees, everything works really, really well. But as I said, the moment it moves out of this zone, the moment the whole treachery happens, and the moment the whole Yakuza stunt begins, the film just doesn't go nowhere. And the other problem with Thug Life is the fact that apart from Manikam's role played by Nasser, who was Shaktivel's elder brother, none of the other characters really have a need to do what they are doing, except the fact that they are trying to vie for the power. But again, do they get that power? I don't really see how that happened. Even though the film has a lot of characters, Thug Life is essentially about Amaran and Shaktivel. And it's between these two characters that the film revolves around, but somehow this bond is never really explored enough. Do we really understand why Amaran feels a certain way about Shaktivel? Do we really understand why Shaktivel wants to keep him by his side always? There's a promise being made. It's conveniently forgotten for quite some time. Honestly, Silambarasan's Amar does get a raw deal in the film because his character is not really properly sketched out. As in, he's more of a puppet in this film. He delivers a strong performance with smoldering looks, simmering rage. His intensity is really, really good. But it's not, I don't think the film really explores Amar's personality enough. We don't really see what Amar is all about, except for a scene with Trisha, where we understand what his mind is thinking. We understand that he's not a very simple man. He has his own ideas. He has his own machinations. We get it, but doesn't really translate on screen. That's the problem with Thug Life, because a lot of things that seem to be a very, very interesting ideas don't really flesh out properly. It's also probably because the director felt that we would connect the dots. But in a film like Thug Life, where a lot of things are just being crammed into the narrative, it's important that the context is set. It's important that the characters are utilized properly. It's important that we understand what the characters are going through. We are just told a lot of things. We are just said that this happened here, this happened there, so this happened here. So we can't really follow the narrative. It's like, it's not confusing per se, it's not convoluted, it's just boring. It's just bland. I think this is the biggest problem of Thug Life after setting up a beautiful first half, because the second half is just like a video game. Every new level has a new villain, and how the villain is vanquished, how this person reaches there. We just go with the flow, and the flow is not really good in Thug Life. But if someone has had fun in Thug Life, it is Kamal Haasan. He's doing a lot of things that he's always wanted to do, as in the Yakuza part of it, the martial arts part of it, his love for inflicting violence upon himself, the character, of course, be it a wall falling over him or a doctor removing glass shards from his face. The camera is very, very strongly focused on Kamal not wincing a lot when this happens. There are a lot of interesting dialogues that happen. Of course, there's a lot of fun that Kamal Haasan has, and also a lot of humor in the film. There are very one-liners that suddenly come out of nowhere, and I think it's all being said by Kamal Haasan, and it's a very, very, it is a Kamal Haasan show. Let's not kid ourselves. As long as he is the protagonist, it is going to be about him. But what really happens in Thug Life is that a lot of lovely moments, like for instance, the one he shares with Abhirami, the one he shares with Trisha, these are all overshadowed by a uninspired revenge drama, because we know what's going to happen. We know what the climax is going to be. We know almost every step of the way what the second half is going to unfold as. And if predictability is a problem, if the fact that the film is rather flat, there is no elevation, there is no, how do I put it very simply, there are no moments where we are like, wow, we're watching a Mani Ratnam film. It's also due to the hype that the film had. It's also due to the legacy of the filmmaker, legacy of the actor, legacy of the people involved. We have pushed the film to such a height that we're setting ourselves and the film and the filmmakers to cross a really, really high bar. But we expect them to do it because it is Mr. Mani Ratnam, it is Mr. Kamal Haasan, it is Mr. A.R. Rahman, it is Mr. Shrikar Prasad, it is Mr. Avinash. A lot of such talents are in place, so that the pedigree of the people involved make you want to expect more out of a film. Trisha gets a fascinating character that is torn between the idea of freedom and the reality of it. It is a very layered character, but I don't think it really finds its footing throughout the film. It is a very interesting space that the film goes into with the character of Indrani. Same thing holds good with the character of Jiva played by Abhirami. Both the women have very interesting arcs, but they are caught in the world of men who are, how do I put it, they are quite alpha. Both of them are used as collateral. Not just them, actually, most of the women in this film are used as collateral. And it does make sense in a world where men think they are right always. A lot of violence happening, a lot of bloodshed happening. They are automatically pushed as collateral. Of course, a case can be made about the romantic relationships in the film between, let's say, Kamal and Abhinami, or Kamal and Trisha, and of course the other angle that comes into play a bit later. But it is a very odd relationship. It is very squirmy. It is very peculiarly odd. But however, this makes sense in the film because it is about an aging gangster who knows he's very vulnerable, who knows his frailties, and is torn between wanting to hold back his strength and giving up to his idea of lust. It's a very interesting space that the film almost goes to. Actually, this is another problem of thuglife, because a lot of interesting ideas are there, a lot of interesting avenues the film can go into, but somehow does it? I'm not sure why it pulls back its punches. The film should have been. Of course, we can only talk about the film that we have, but seeing the ideas that are presented in the film, it would have been a lovely experience to see how the human relationships were explored. Honestly, I understand that the film wants to explore the ideas of Shaktivar and Amaran being two sides of the same coin, and it's wonderfully explored in a stunt sequence where we see both of them mirroring the stunts and the emotional highs. But somehow the flourishes are very, very few in this film. It almost doesn't feel like a Mani Ratnam film. Now, we can't hold that against him because it's also about what we expect out of it, but not having an emotional stronghold, not having characters being fleshed out properly, not having the emotional core of the film being explored enough. But why do we expect all these things? Because it is a Mani Ratnam film, because it is a Kamal Haasan film, because it is a film that reunites both of them after Nayakan. This is a film that reunites Kamal and Rahman after Tenali. This is a film that was supposed to be the movie of the year. This was supposed to be almost like the two masters of Tamil cinema telling the world what they can do even 38 years after they first collaborated. This was supposed to be a lot of things. Unfortunately, it makes me wonder just one thing. Is this really the Mani Ratnam Kamal Haasan film that we were waiting for so many years? Hope you liked this video review episode, and if you did, please do like, share and subscribe to Cinema Express, and do leave your comments on how the film was and how this review was. Until we meet in the next episode on Cinema Express, this is your friendly neighborhood critic, Avinash Ramachandran, signing off. Tata.